Hello everyone, Roberto here. Hello. Not for a video review this time, but for basically, well, a kind of reaction video to my first ever review, or I say first ever review. I did a block of 3 or 4, maybe 5 actually, all at the same time. Just videos when I sorted them by dates. This was the one that came up first, so it might not necessarily have been strictly the first one. I could have deleted one before it, or I don't know, the order was out or something like that. But just if it is, I think it was the 1st of April, 5 years ago. I did about 4 videos, and this was the top one. So we're not sorted by date. Yeah, so there we go. So I'm going to give it a watch. Yeah, it should be quite an interesting one, really. It's basically Cadbury's Twirl. So yes, the first one I did, or one of the first ones, as I say. Yeah, an interesting one. Now, I am British, so bear that in mind. It's not going to be, no offense to any Americans out there, but I'm not going to be sort of reacting similar to what perhaps, I don't know, maybe our cousins overseas normally react, sort of like, running around, yeah, come on, and stuff like that, and shouting and running around with the top off and things like this. I'm not going to be doing any of that. No offense to any Americans if you're watching, but you know what I mean. Or maybe you don't, but no offense either way. But yeah, so just going to be sort of watching through, see how it goes. This should be quite an interesting one, just picking up basically, yeah, any anything of interest, any sort of, I don't know, see how the channel compares now as it was then. It's probably about the same, maybe, who knows, maybe for better or worse. Yeah, it should be quite an interesting one, I think. Hopefully something you'll find enjoyable. So fingers crossed. Yeah, it should be quite an interesting one, as I say. So quite looking forward to it. So I think we should get into it. So let's do it. Let's get into it. Okay, yeah, well, we'll stop straight away. So, basically, yeah, so interesting one, really. This sort of intro here that I had here was basically done by Windows Movie Maker. It used to be, I don't think you can get it anymore, actually. I think they've discontinued it. It used to be free on Windows software, basically. And yeah, this little animated intro, it just did it for me, really. And interestingly enough, I stopped using Windows Movie Maker after a relatively short amount of time. Yeah, and yeah, basically, I kept it though. I took off the text and just saved just recorded the actual animation, and then imported that into Adobe Premiere Pro, which was the next bit of software I used. And then just in Premiere Pro, just added the text on for every video. So the animation was there, and I just added, and I think I had to animate the text to move in the same way, which is a bit of a pain but the first time you only need to do it once, then it works forever after then. And I used that up until I think just last year, would be when I moved over to start using DaVinci Resolve, which is what I use now, the video editing software, which is where I got my new titles from. But I was using this for about 4.5 years, so quite an interesting one, really. Yeah, interesting one. Oh yeah, by the way, wearing headphones, by the way, because just obviously so you can't hear the sound. As well, obviously it was playing in my speakers or whatever. You'd hear it from the microphone, so yeah, that's why. So you don't get an echo. Okay, let's continue on. Hello everyone, Chocolo Roberto here with another video review. Wow. Yeah, so stop it there again. A few things to say already, really. Yeah, this video, you probably can't see, it's got like 1 dislike. It's about 278 views. No likes and 1 dislike, so I guess it got watched a lot, but people just didn't like it. I guess, well, you can see now there's a few issues, isn't there? I mean, you can see there's big borders on the screen. Yeah, basically that was because I was recording on my webcam on my laptop here, and I think using the laptop microphone as well. So, you just had that resolution. I think a sort of wasn't a widescreen webcam, and I think most webcams have this sort of like sort of square. I don't know I forgot what the aspect ratio is now for it. Is it 16:9 or something? I'm not sure. But either way, whatever it is, yes, that's kind of wide, but it was like these big black borders. So once I realised this, because I think it was only after the event I realised it, I thought, okay, I've got to. I think I moved on to using my other webcam, actually, the one I actually used for my secondary webcam in some of my lives I've done recently. So I've had that camera for a long time as well. And I think that sorted the issue, but I didn't realise it at first, of course. So, I thought, well, I've just got to upload them and things. Yeah, and you notice, and I didn't want to show my face either. That was the other thing. I didn't want to. I thought I don't want to. I just wanted the views to be about chocolate, really. So I thought I don't want to worry about getting it all over my face or having what I look like if my hair was sticking up everywhere if I hadn't shaved or something like that. So I just yeah, I wanted it just to be about the chocolate, and I want it would be difficult to move the camera around and things like this as well. That was the other thing. So I just, because it was a static camera, I'd have to move my laptop and things. Maybe it would turn off if I lowered it too much and things. I couldn't edit the videos, had no real editing software then. So it was a bit of multiple reasons for it, really. Yeah, here we go. But it's in a different room I'm in now. But same table, but just different tablecloth. I had a green tablecloth then, beige tablecloth. Yeah, there you go. You can see a door in the background as well, which irritated me a bit, but there's no way around it because the the window was on my right, left as you're looking at it. You can see the light coming through, so I couldn't sit on that side. And the other side, I think I had shelves or something, so I just couldn't. Yeah, so basically I had to sit where I was, basically. And on the opposite side of the same again, shelves. So yeah, okay, there we go. Let's keep going. This time it's the Cadbury's Twirl. Bearings again, 50p. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. This is on the packaging. Does detract from it. I sound a bit. I do sound a bit monotonous now. I mean, maybe I don't know if it's just experience or I was a bit nervous or what. But obviously now I'm a bit louder and I don't know, sound maybe a bit more confident. I don't know what that is. I don't know why that was. Maybe it's just I don't know really. Maybe I just wasn't sure what to make of it myself. You know, so it's just yeah. Who knows? But yeah. But anyway, okay. Let's keep going. It's a bit, but there we go. So yeah, it's a lovely metallic purple. Definitely purple this time. I like the whisper, which you can't really tell. Nice yellow font. Basically it's a double fingered bar, so it's 2 fingers of chocolate, of Cadbury's chocolate. Yes, I've still got the details coming on now, haven't I really? It's still quite, yeah, you know, yeah, talking about the wrapper and things. Obviously, yeah, disappointed it had that 50p on it. I guess that does detract from it slightly, but I don't know how much they cost now, twirls. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have said they were, well, I don't know really. Are they more expensive than 50p? Don't know really. Usually you get them. Usually you buy them now, don't you? 2 for £1 or something like that. So you probably don't notice as much. But they probably are 60p, some 70p now, aren't they? Probably. Yeah. Let me know in the comments. The Intense Chocolate Hit. So I must say, Cadbury's are a bit better than a lot of companies with actually giving you some kind of blurb. No, not sure that's the case really. Compared to US companies maybe, but I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's just because the bar's a bit more exciting. I don't know. But I think other companies do give you blurb and stuff. So yeah. You know, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter, but you need to get something. 115 calories in this per finger, so 230 in total. So quite high, I guess. Well, I think they're all quite high in calories, chocolate, isn't it? I don't know what I was basing it off there really, but yeah, I guess it's quite high. But you know, yeah, just generally quite high. Don't know as opposed to compared to what, but there we go. Yeah. Let's see if we find the flap contents. There we go. So underneath the flap, there's like this flap, and underneath it, it's got the proper values. So 6.6 grams of fat. 43 gram bar, I think I can make out there. I don't know if you quite see it's upside down. See if you can notice that. I'd be interested to see if it's any bigger or smaller. Well, it won't be bigger. Well, it's small. Well, if it's smaller now, rather, if it's bigger then, yeah, I guess. Interesting. 4.1 grams of which are saturates. 43, definitely. Quite high in sugar as well. I don't really need to talk about the sugar and things because there's very little salt in these. I'd like to be, yeah, I did discuss there why I don't only talk about the calories and fat and things. But yeah, normally I would have shown you as well these days. I would have actually put it to the screen so you could see the calories and things. Because obviously, you know, if I misinterpret it or whatever, and it's important you actually see it. So that's something I would do nowadays, or at least try to if I remember. Might forget sometimes, you know. Chocolate bars and obviously sugar's going to be quite high because it's, you know, it's just the nature of it. So I'm basically concentrating on the calories and the fat really. 21.1 grams. So yeah, it's per finger actually. So it doesn't seem to tell you here. Yes, it's quite. You can hear there's a slight buzzing in the background as well, can't you? And I think I seem to remember. Yeah, I remember now. It's I used to use a bit of software called Audacity to try and remove that kind of sound background noise, but it resulted in like it basically just you could remove it sort of, but it distorted the rest of the sound, so you end up having like weird tinny sounds and stuff, and it just wasn't great. And I think that's eventually what made me move to an external microphone because it was just a nightmare really. Another thing I had to do as well, yeah, remembering that I had to sort of match the wavelengths of the sound because when I was recording with an extra microphone, I had to sort of I think do it in Movie Maker, I think as well, and it was you couldn't zoom in, so you had like a sort of the whole video track was about this long. So imagine 10 minutes or whatever in this length, and all the waves of you know sound waves. You had to match it up. It was nearly impossible to be that accurate with you know we've only been zoomed in that much. Yeah, so you know you had to do all nonsense like that. So it was a lot easier when I went to Premiere Pro, that's for sure, where you could zoom into ridiculous lengths, you know, as far as you could go. That was one thing I had to do as well, yeah. But I think I roughly got it right. It's kind of worked, you know. It did like claps at the start, you know, when you see in films where you do the shutter thing at the start, you know, action clap. That's basically you can match up the wavelengths of the sound, you know, so you can do claps as well. That's what it's for, you know. And I had to do things like that. I don't need to do it now because record with OBS. I do record separately with sound, separately with video, visual, whatever. But then OBS combines them both, so I don't need to sync them up anymore. OBS is the software I use to basically recording software. I'm using it now to record this. There's other softwares. That one's free. You know, it's all what streamers generally use and stuff like that. Quite deceiving. It says each 21.5 grams contains, which you could be deceived into thinking it was the whole thing, but actually on the blurb here it tells you that each finger is 21.5 grams. So actually the whole thing is a lot more than that. So it's obviously 13.2 grams of fat, 8.2 of which is saturates for the whole bar. So I think there I'm talking about the fact that, you know, the calories are given you per finger or whatever it was. I'm not sure. I think I can. I'm sure I got the calories right earlier on. I can't remember. But basically, I'm just saying that they're giving you per finger rather than the whole thing. I think so. It can look a bit deceiving. You might think it's the whole thing is so many calories, but it's actually per finger. 24. Yeah, so it's quite high actually. This one. Yeah. So quite high in fat and things. This one, to be honest with you. So you can see sometimes the colour on the screen is, I mean, it says in HD as well, it really isn't, but well, you know, the quality's not great. I mean, it might be HD, poor quality in HD, but you can see the pixelating on my arms as well, can't you? You know, it's like really jaggedy, so the quality's just not great at all. But also you can see the light as well. Now I have studio lights and things, you know, it's you can see all the shadows and things when the sun's going in and out behind clouds and things, the colour changes, you know, the camera's trying to compensate for it, it changes the colours and stuff. Yeah, all that sort of stuff going on. But you know, you just have to start somewhere. You know, if you don't start, you'll never improve, and you don't know what you need to know, if you know what I mean. So this is what I did. I just thought, right, I'm just going to do it. I don't care, you know. And then you end up where you are now, really. Obviously, whether much better, I don't know. I think I still talk the same, other than maybe I'm a bit more, it sounds a bit more enthusiastic. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, and I couldn't edit out pauses like that. I mean, not to that extent, but some pauses, you know, I wouldn't have been able to edit out back in the day. So, you know, I couldn't be stopping for things. You know, it was like a one take, you know. Yeah, there was no way for me to edit the videos at this point. So I had to just keep going. If anything went wrong, I couldn't start, you know, if I was half eating the bar, I wouldn't be able to edit it out, and, you know, it'd have to remain in the video really, or I'd have to buy the bar again and do it again. So yeah, I don't think I ever had that problem though, luckily. But yeah, there you go. But easily deceived with that, I'd say. But again, you know, we're not really. We expect these to be unhealthy, really, don't we? So it does look a bit bigger, doesn't it? It does look a bit bigger. Yeah, it does look a bit bigger. So I wonder if I'm going to measure it. I'm not sure now. Yeah, I have to see whether I'm going to reach for something now. I wonder if it's the ruler. So we'll see. But it does look a bit bigger, doesn't it, now? You know, than the bars these days. It's 43 grams. Don't know what the drawers are nowadays. But yeah, it does look a bit bigger, doesn't it? It does look a bit bigger. The 12s you get nowadays are kind of the same size when you take off the flourishes as the bit that's just purple if you remove the 50p yellow part. But if you reduce the flourishes, you still get a relatively longer bar. I'm sure of it. Of course, I've been doing limited edition ones. The limited edition ones are sometimes small, but even so, this does look bigger than the bars you get today. But let's see if I grab the ruler. I'm not sure. I think I used the ruler from the start. Let's not worry too much about it. If you wanted to be eating healthy, then and I wasn't grabbing it, you won't be having this. And obviously, just be very careful not eating too much. Anyway, health stuff out the way, right? So again, it's got these massive flourishes on this one. Oh, there you go, flourishes. So there you go. From the early days, I was talking about flourishes. Well, that was what I wanted to achieve. It was one of my, I don't know what would you say, remits. I'm not sure what the word is now. But one of the things I wanted to make sure I did was basically talk about the size of the bars. Because if they didn't, because everyone, time immemorial, has been saying about how bars get smaller and things like this, costs go up. So I wanted to have a record of it. You know what I mean? I wanted to say, right, this is. You know, yeah, this is what it was at the time. Unfortunately, I didn't state the weight and things, but we did see it 43 grams. Yeah, and I wanted to, you know, so I'm hoping I measured it. We'll see. But the flourishes obviously was a thing, you know, that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, huge, more than usual. Really big. We'll see. It still looks bigger, doesn't it? As I say, these days, I'm sure the bar would not be much bigger than just the purple part. You know, the 50p yellow bit. I'm sure that doesn't exist anymore. I'm sure the length of it is just the purple bit. I'm sure of it. So a lot smaller, definitely. I think this is going to be a good... Ah, there we go, look at that. There we go, we got the ruler. It wouldn't be a Chocolo Roberto video without the ruler, would it? Or flourishes. So let's have a check. Let's do the old unscientific test. 15.5 centimetres. It's 15.5 centimetres as well, so... It's hard though to go back and look at all these videos and double check them. I mean, someday maybe I'd like to do it, but yeah, it's very difficult. You've got to, review the choc, go back, watch your own video, find out just the point where you talk about it, Yeah, so what's this? Scatman Ski Babba. Oh, YouTube, honestly. I'm the Scatman. Anyway, digressing. Okay, so it's going to be quite wide though. It's a bit wider than a lot of chocolate bars because it's 2 fingers. So no timestamps you'll notice as well. Like at the start, again, it's something I did in with Premiere Pro. At the start of the videos, they were only present. So I only had them at the start, but then it still wasn't good enough because people would either skip the start or something, or just not notice, or forget, or not register them, whatever. So eventually, after a while, I realised, and it was only like last year or something. I thought, right, I'll put them at the start, so it's all the way through actually. So yeah, so basically they're on all the way through now. So which is clearly a good thing. Because obviously I'm talking about all this, and so some people just want to see someone eat the chocolate, which I think is why a lot of my videos in the past got lots of downvotes. I mean, it could be other reasons as well, but I mean that was definitely one of them because people just want to see someone eat the chocolate. I'm already 3 minutes in. Sometimes I've gone 10 minutes without actually opening the chocolate. So yeah, so I think some people just didn't like that for that reason. But I wanted to have the detail. And I still think it's what my channel's unique for, really, or at least more unique than others anyway. I think most of the people just bite into the chocolate and things. But yeah, now of course YouTube also added the functionality where you can put timestamps in the actual video itself. So on the red bar, you can skip to the bits as well. Yeah, but that wasn't there until recently. Let's get it open. Okay. There we go. It does look bigger, doesn't it? Here we are. So that's the 2 things. That's definitely bigger. It just, I mean, it's I should be. It feels wrong to say, and I shouldn't be saying that looks like a giant piece of chocolate, but it looks giant. It looks ginormous. It doesn't. They don't normally look that big anymore. That looks so long. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Really, that really does look a lot longer than it does now, for sure. There's definitely, I don't know, 2, 3, an inch or something. Well, is it about an inch, 2 or 3 centimeters smaller than that? I'm sure they are now. That really does look very long, doesn't it? Fingers, so they obviously do detach, not together. They weren't joined at any point. So it's if you smell these, it smells very nice. It's the Cadbury's chocolate, not too dissimilar to Whisper, but you don't get that smell straight away. I don't know if they're wider. I mean, it looks, yeah, maybe did it look white when they're both together? I don't know. Way. Might be imagining that part. Yeah, quite attractive looking bars. See, they've kind of got like a groove in it, this one. I think that's just a partial defect. It's basically because it's a bit like the chocolate on the inside is kind of like a swirly, flaky chocolate, which there is a Cadbury's chocolate bar called Flake, which is basically just the inside of this, and then it's covered in a... Well, I always say that, and I still kind of say it, but it's not really the same. The flake is a lot more flaky, but it generally, yeah, it's not massively different. This is just a milk chocolate. So it's kind of crumbly on the inside, and that's why it has a sort of not quite a solid uniform shape. So you can see down this that groove there. So yeah, it's basically why it's also got like a hole in the top as well, because it's kind of gone inside there. It really does look bigger though, doesn't it? That's definitely longer than it is now. I'm sure. I think I've had limited edition twirls recently, but so often limited edition ones they just make them smaller because they're cheeky like that. But even so, I'm sure regular twirls are not that long anymore. The flaky bits. Yeah, so even this one's got a groove actually. Well, if that's the same one, isn't it? Yeah, so they're a bit knobbly basically. So let's have a look at the length. There we go. Good old measuring stick. So yeah, so doing the rule of action again. So yeah, so not changed too much really. So far, to be honest with you, it seems quite similar to my regular reviews really. Obviously just the quality and sound of my voice and sound quality in my voice has changed, yeah. you know, and obviously I think he had similar t-shirts really, you know, so yeah, not much different. So yeah, it's a 10.7 actually. 10.7, there we go. So yeah, I don't reckon it's anywhere near 10 centimetres now. I reckon it'll be about 8 centimetres. Yeah, so massive difference. But, you know, quite wide though, about 3 centimetres wide. It looks quite, I don't know if it is wider, but it looks wider, doesn't it? It could just be deception because of the fact it's longer, you know, I don't know, but it's definitely bigger. They're definitely not that long anymore for sure. So yeah, so it's quite a wide bar really. So you are getting the width here, which you don't probably. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah. Anyway, there we go. So yes. Also, you know, nothing amazing to look at. I guess there's no special designs or anything on it. Cadbury's don't often seem to do many designs on their chocolates, I've noticed. I guess they do on some of them, I mean, like dairy milks and stuff. I guess don't you have like those bubble designs? Maybe they didn't back then. I'm not sure when the bubble one came out, but they sometimes do say some things on them. But yeah, they're often relatively plain, aren't they, Cadbury's stuff? Well, on these ones anyway. I think the dairy milk range they might do, but on these ones. Right, so let's have a look. I think I'll give it a snap. Ooh, okay. Right, so yeah, you can see the kind of swirly chocolate. So there you go. Yeah, you can see there that my camera is not bad actually. I mean, my new one it's basically a webcam. Well, this was a webcam as well, but my new one has technology to make it try and focus in on your face, and I don't know. There's obviously some kind of software in there that prioritizes certain things. I think we can see that, you know, we've got a bit of detail there. It's not struggling to focus. I mean, it's just a standard focus on this camera really. So maybe if I moved it close to the camera, it wouldn't focus in as well as my current one does. But my current one does focus in and out a bit too haphazardly really, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, so not too bad. Not too bad though. The quality's there at least for this part. Inside, that I was mentioning, so it's, you know, it's like a folded over chocolate, so you can see more. It's a bit more of a solid part there in the middle, but then surrounding it, you can clearly see there's like a swirled chocolate that's been laid. Yeah, so it's not focusing in as I'm bringing it close, you know, and I don't think it could. You know what I mean? I don't think it could. Down on the top and the sides. So look at myself. Or perhaps in the this side, look at it where the air pockets there. You can see it's like a folded over chocolate, and the other bit's a bit more solid. So it's kind of like a combination of a bit of a solid chocolate and flake, really. Again, not really flake, but it's got a flaky centre, as in flake with a lowercase f, I guess. I mean, it's not too dissimilar, but it's not quite the same as a flake, but it's similar. It's similar. And I say flake because that's the brand that is basically all that. The whole chocolate bar is like that, and it's very nice as well. Slightly different, as I say. Okay, let's give it a try then. I think it looks quite nice on the inside. It's going to be quite a delicate chocolate. So see, there's no cuts or anything, because as I say, I could only do this in one take. I couldn't edit the video, so there's no cutting from, you know, so it was all really as a convenience as well, the fact that I didn't move the camera about and things, because I couldn't edit the video really, other than add a title sequence and maybe some other things, you know, but I couldn't really do much. So yeah, I just had, it was a necessity as well as a convenience really, I guess, as well as something I like to do, not having my face on and stuff like this. Let's give it a go. Oh, yes, that's definitely the sounds of someone enjoying a chocolate. Something a bit more convincing than I do nowadays. I think I sort of seem to go, and stuff like that. I think, I don't know, not on purpose, but I don't know. I feel like those sounded a bit more genuine than nowadays. Maybe it's just it's not that I don't try to be genuine or I'm making, you know, being false or anything. I just feel like maybe it's just the difference between being more subtle in those days compared to how as I am now. It just sounded a bit more like definitely yeah, like it was a pleasurable experience to be eating that chocolate, and you know, which it is. Oh, that's lovely. Smell like it as well. It's really nice actually. You don't get the intense smell. You do it slightly, but you really have to search it out. Probably no more so than you would have done anyway, than you do with like a whisper or something. but it definitely has a lovely taste like it. So I've bit it off in a funny way actually, which works out quite well. I kind of did it a sideways bite, so you can clearly see the chocolate covering here. Clearly cover that bit. That's like a flaky bit there, the big sharpy bit that's sticking out, the sharp bit. Yeah, so you can basically see that's what it is. It's kind of like a flaky chocolate, which is the layered, swirly chocolate that's sort of folded over. I mean, I guess flakes are just, rather than like folds of chocolate, they're just like a lot smaller, aren't they? So it's similar but not the same. You know, I think I used to think, I don't know if I thought it was exactly the same or not, but I guess it is sort of. But I mean, when I snapped it, there's no way that a flake, when you snap it, would not produce loads of crumbs, whereas this obviously didn't. So there's a slight difference there. Yeah, but they're not, you know, they're not the same, but they're similar, but not the same. You know, yeah, it's just one of those. But I think I always used to sort of really, I don't know, think they were more similar than they actually are, but they're not dissimilar. I just think I'm perhaps over-egging the fact that they're that similar when they're not really. Covered in a layer of other chocolate as well, so that's basically what this bar is really. So it's lovely, soft, crumbly chocolate. It's the inside really crumbles, you know, when you bite it. But so if you ever eat a flake, Cadbury's flake, you'll have to have a plate because it just goes everywhere. This one not been so bad. Well, there you go. See, I noticed that then, not because it's different, you know. I think the outside layer of chocolate holds it together quite well. So yes, you can clearly see the layers there. Outside coating, inside flakiness. Let's have another taste. Why not? Yes. Definitely enjoying that flake. Yeah, it's lovely Cadbury's chocolate as well. Here's the other one where I did the snap before. It's lovely. I said flake myself then. Twirl. It's very, very tasty. It's very nice. It's I'd say it's got that lovely Cadbury's chocolate hit, and it's so soft and flaky on the inside. It's a lovely texture again. It's not like the Whisper, not bubbly or velvety. It's more just soft and crumbly, and it crumbles in your mouth. And then of course before melting, it's a very nice taste. It's just another way to eat Cadbury's chocolate basically. So I'll do a review of the flake at some point, which is, so it's a bit bigger than this. It's like one solid finger but a bit bigger. All the flaky chocolate, which is technically the inside of this. With no. See, again, talking about that inside, you know. Outside covering, although they did do a wow. You know, I guess, you know, it's easy to describe it that way, isn't it? And it's not wrong, I guess, as such. It's not really a flake that's covered in chocolate, but it's, you know, yeah, I don't know. I think I was just perhaps just tying it in too closely with flake, really. So yeah, over talking about it now as well, really. But there we go. Far back, I don't think they do anymore, but they did do some variants with a covering, but that's basically what this bar is anyway. So, although they did white chocolate ones and things like that. Yeah, so it's yeah, very, very tasty actually. I think slightly underwhelmed compared to. But yeah, I'm just wondering what I'm going to give it really. You know, I think I would give. You know, I'm going to put my head on the line here, whatever the term is. But yeah, it's where I'm consistent on. Hopefully I am. I think I would have given it. I would give a flake. And based on what I'm saying now, it sounds like I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. But I think based on what I know now as well, I think a 4 out of 5. I think because it's yeah, it's really nice. It just lacks that sort of, I guess, like an X factor is what I say normally. You know, so it's really nice, lovely. But I think yeah, it just lacks that certain something to really push it over the edge. You know. But it's still really nice, yeah. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I did it again. Another thing, I did rate them out of 5 from the start as well, because I hate reviews out of 10. I just think, what's the point? You know, why is a 2 and a 3? What's the difference? Would you buy something that's a 3 rather than a 2? No. Even a 4 rather than a 3, would you? No, you wouldn't. You know what I mean? So what's the point? And then, you know, I think I've talked about it before. And I know people might say, well, you give things half marks and stuff like that, but that's really to distinguish between, you know, a bit more of a distinguisher really between certain things. You know, if something's not quite a certain level, you know, that's more of the reason for it. So you could say it's out of 10 sort of, but it's, you know, it's more of a useful metric, you know. So something's like above average but not that much above average, then it's a 3.5, you know, things like that, you know, just to differentiate between this, which is a 4, or you know, well, I would give it a 4 now anyway. I don't know what I gave it then, but you know, yeah, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Yeah, so you know, giving something like a 1.5 is, you know, it's perhaps a waste of time really. But sometimes, you know, just to emphasise the fact that it's really that bad, you know, might do it, but you know, there's a difference there. It's a more useful metric rather than like a 2 out of 10 or something. I mean, it's just, you know, what's the point? I've seen people say as well, you know, I don't want to kill labour on about this, but people say, oh, so this is really terrible, it's awful, product, rubbish, worst thing I've ever tasted, 5 out of 10. You know, 5 out of 10 for the worst thing you ever tasted. Well, what's a 1 out of 10 then? You know, anyway, just winds me up. So I was definitely against marks out of 10 from the start. As I say, with all that caveat that I've just spoken about, but which may be hypocritical to some extent, but there is a method to the madness there. Say a whisper or something. I think where this one might come into its own is a bit of dunkage in some tea or something. I think. Yeah, I could say the old dunk technique or the straw technique. You know, you nibble off both ends and you can use it as a straw, like for a hot drink. It's absolutely fantastic thing to do, and something like a twirl to do that. You know, melts all the insides as well with a hot drink. So, and obviously, good do with a cold drink, I guess, but hot drink's where it's at. It'd be beautiful to do that. Actually, I think if you did that, you'd definitely have a winner here. You know, 5 out of 5 all day, every day. But that's probably the case with most chocolates. I just think this one's even more suited to it because it's a finger. You can quite easily dunk it in. And I think, yeah, I think this is very well suited to that. You could probably try one of those tricks where you bite both ends off and then suck the tea through or coffee through. There you go, yeah. You could even do that. I think you'd have a good, yeah, beautiful experience doing that. Although slightly messy. But then, that sounds good. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I think you definitely enjoy this one. I think it's. So what I'm going to give it then. 4 out of 5 is what I'd give it these days. I feel like I'm not. Well, I did seem to be very much enjoying it, but I don't know. I'm the same person. Well, I don't know if I'm the same person as them, but based on the way I feel like I'm reacting, I think I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 then as well. But we'll see. It's not quite as you know as perfect as a whisper really. So I think a 4 out of 5 for this one. Ah, there you go. You see, there you go. That's good. That's good. I'm glad I'm consistent. I have been. I mean, it's difficult really. I think I just reviewed the Cadbury's caramel egg, I think, and I gave that 3 out of 5. And I don't know whether I would have been able to guess I would have given that 3 out of 5, or at least because it's one of those in memory, when you think about it, it sounds like you think, oh, it's brilliant and perfect, but I think when you actually come to taste it, it is quite average. Because the chocolate doesn't taste that great, and you know, the caramel's not got much of a taste, but it's such a lump of gooey caramel, you know. But I don't know where I could have predicted that one as well. I don't know, not sure, hard to say, but yeah. But at least in this case, it was consistent. It is very tasty. It's lovely Cadbury's chocolate. I don't know, just something that doesn't quite give you the wow factor, but there you go, X factor again, yeah. It's really tasty. It's really lovely. I was probably being a bit harsh on myself then as well with that caramel egg. I think it's just one of those where it's you know, you just think it's going to be, from looking at it and thinking about to what it is, you think it's going to be fantastic, but it's a bit disappointing. But you know, yeah, obviously it's when you taste it, it's when you're reviewing it, not just remembering it, isn't it? But so maybe I was being a bit harsh on myself, but there we go. Yeah, beautiful. I do like it a lot, really. It's nice. As I say, you know, it's definitely a gorgeous chocolate. Highly recommended. Right, well, I shall enjoy this. So yeah, take care everyone. You know the drill. Let me know what you think, and you know the drill. Saying that as well. Still say that now. Suggestions or anything like that, just get in touch. And I hope to hear from you. Right, take care everyone. Have a good one. Bye bye. So there we go. There we are. Yeah, interesting one. No end screen, of course. Don't forget the end credits there. Sort of yeah. What's going on here? Yeah, so an interesting one for sure. Yeah, bit of an interesting one, really. Oh, look, Stash Watch. There we go. Episode 1. Oh dear. But yes, yeah, an interesting one. That one, interesting one. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like my channel's changed that much, really. Yeah, I don't think it's changed that much. I think it's quite an interesting one. I think. Yeah, I feel like my reviews are still quite the same. I feel like I haven't changed that much in my reviews. I feel like I still went to the detail that I do now. I still, I still basically did all the sort of, you know, measurements and spoke about the chocolate, the taste and the smell, and went into the same sort of detail. I don't think really I was talking about the reaction videos to my first video, expecting the worst and things. But to be honest with you, other than the quality, and obviously just the things that come with time, maybe, as I say, maybe being a bit more, sounding a bit more vibrant and things, and the camera being a bit better and the quality of sound being a bit better. Moving the camera around and some editing and things. I don't think I've changed it that much. I mean, for better or worse, maybe some people, you might think, well, it should be a lot better than it is. But an interesting one. Definitely an interesting one. I think, it's just, just very interesting. But as I say, I don't feel like I've changed that much, really, from it all. I feel like it's still quite similar. Yeah, I feel like my principles have stayed the same, and I'm quite happy with that review. I mean, watching it, I felt like I gave myself, or gave the bar rather, a good review. Really, I spoke about it in detail, showed you what it looked like, went into the taste, gave it a rating, looked at the size of it and things like this, gave it the calories. I'm actually quite happy with that, and I think, let's say, quality aside and stuff like this, that's my kind of review, really. I'm quite happy to see that and watch that, and I'm happy with that. Don't mean to sound like a blow my own trumpet and things, but I'm quite happy with that review. Yeah, so I don't know. Obviously it didn't get many likes really, and one dislike. It had a number of views, 278. It's not a small amount. So it could just be the quality or not showing my face and things, and just sounding a bit flat. Things like this, all makes a difference, doesn't it? But I think the content was there, just the presentation wasn't quite that great. But I don't know, could be me. I mean, of course, I'd say I might be missing the point and stuff like that. I don't know, but I think it is important to have the looks and things like this. But even so, I think I'm happy with that. I feel like it was a good, solid review. That so, obviously it needs to appeal and things like this and stuff like that. If it looks a bit drab and dreary and not showing my face and stuff, I think it is gonna, so clearly those are things I've learned from and stuff like that. But the content, I'm quite happy with that. I quite like the detail I gave. I like I felt like I came away with, from watching that. I mean, it's easy for me to say, but I felt like I came away with a decent review of the bar there. But I would say that because I'm the one who I still do similar reviews. It's not changed that much, for better or worse, as I say. So I've kind of clearly, it's just the way I want to portray the products, I guess. So I'm clearly going to be a bit biased or whatever to say that. But yeah, well, let me know what you think. If you think what the changes are since then, and if you prefer them or think I've not changed enough, or I don't know. Yeah, let me know. I'll put a link to a playlist as well of all the other all the first 5 videos or whatever. I don't know if I'll make them public again. I might just put them you can put them in a playlist and still make them available as such. People just can't search for them. I'm not sure really, but yeah, you can give them a watch, see what you think. I don't say the others might be terrible. I don't know. I've not watched them yet or whatever, but this one seemed okay. And I don't know if it's strictly the first one I did, but I'd say it was the first in the day tour that I did. I might have deleted ones before. I don't think I deleted any videos. I see. Actually, I could say errors. I think I just hid them away. So. So there we go. Yeah, well, hope you enjoyed that. It was an interesting one. It's good to see it again. I was expecting the worst, and I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, I think this as worst first videos go. I mean, obviously it didn't look great, you know what I mean, and the quality wasn't there and stuff like that. But I think obviously forcing myself to watch the whole thing. Maybe I would have turned off as well because of the looks a bit poor quality, which I'm sure most people probably would have done. But having watched it all, I'm quite happy with it. But yeah, I think I might not have been overly interested from when it first started to watch through more than a few seconds. So yeah, I concede that. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed that reaction video. Yes, I don't know if I'll be doing more of them or not. It probably defeats the purpose, if you do too many of them. I mean, it's meant to really just be the reaction to your first video or something, isn't it? So, but I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. It was an interesting one. I'm quite happy with how it went. Not too embarrassed. Right, well, let me know what you think anyway. Leave a comment or free, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye for now. See ya.